Hello everyone. Welcome back to the daily Instagram live / YouTube vid. Today, as usual, we're going to talk some uh, valuable spiritual lessons and in general encourage the masses, the people out there, the wonderful humans, to begin meditating. Begin reflecting on yourself. Begin learning about what it is to be a real human being. Okay? If we have any generous Instagram Live joiners who have any questions, feel free. We can take this conversation wherever. If not, I'll just talk off the top of my head. Nessa, thank you for joining. You've been a legendary supporter for a long time. If you have any questions concerning anything, feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer or impart the wonderful wisdom that I have gained in these years of meditation and whatnot. I had a question on YouTube where a guy was asking me, what are my actual experiences during meditation? What are my actual meditation experiences? And sure, I can talk about that a bit. My experience with meditation, some of the recent ones, one recent one in particular I can talk about so people can understand that I'm not perfect and I'm just like everyone else for sure, and I struggle with all this type of shit as much as anyone else. This was actually at Christmas time. And I started doing like looking into meditation and spirituality and self-reflection and self-development and all this type of stuff probably at the very beginning was probably like 5 or 6 years ago that I really, maybe 7 years ago that I really started going down this path. And so since then, I've done different things. I went through periods of heavy meditation, periods of reflection, and all this type of stuff. But once I really got into doing an hour of meditation a day, that's only been not quite a year yet, right? So since I've been doing 1 hour of meditation a day, that's been probably um, 8 months to 10 months, maybe approximately. Anyway, at Christmas, I remember, I think it was like maybe even literally on Christmas Day, but right around there. Holy shit. I was like struggling so hard to get this hour of fucking meditation done. I was doing it in like, holy shit, literally like 5-minute increments. I was like putting my headphones on and leaning back and like doing 5 minutes at a time. Fuck. I would like do 5 minutes and I was like, I can't take it anymore. And I would get up and I would like go downstairs and like eat some cookies or something, or like just anything to avoid the present moment, anything to avoid taking responsibility for my own like well-being, like for my own happiness. I was just like couldn't face it. It was just too fucking much. And I was like, oh, what's up, Angela? Thanks for coming, man. And so I would just try to avoid the meditation at all costs, and I would go and whatever, like have some coffee or anything. And then eventually I'd be like, fuck, I have to do it. And I would go back down and do 10 minutes or whatever. And it took me like all fucking day to get an hour done. And it was brutality. It was brutality. So I get it. Like, and probably for people who are just starting, if you're trying to do the like 3-3-3 challenge, which is something I'm talking about for people who haven't heard it yet, where I'm trying to get people to do 3 minutes of meditation 3 times a week for 3 months. I'm trying to get people to do that and to like actually follow through with it. And if you do that, you will become a better person. You will become more peaceful with yourself and more happy for sure. Like it's gonna fucking happen. And so I get it. So like if you literally have to like sit down and do like your 3 minutes, if you have to do it at like for 30 seconds at a time, yo, I get that. Like do it for 30 seconds. Like do whatever the fuck you can to start to get in there. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you should definitely get started. You should definitely do that. And so that was a story. That was a like meditation story from my experience of how it was fucking difficult. But like other experiences I've had, like there's definitely times when like yeah, thanks brother, thanks man, Angelo. Yeah, you know, you to get started, like holy shit, if you're a beginner, like it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. And over time, what I've found is having it like regimented in there so that you know you're going to do it every day, or if you're just getting started and you're doing 3 times a week, you know that 3 times that week you're building up that regimentation, that discipline, that you know there's going to be 3 minutes where you can just let it go. Like you can just let yourself, oh, nice, Jordan, thanks for coming in, girl. You can just relax for a moment. You know, you can just enjoy yourself in that 3 minutes of meditation that you know you're going to have. And the more that you commit to that and the more that you know it's going to happen, you're going to fucking look forward to it. Even if it is like difficult and traumatic and you're like breaking down traumatic shit from your past or whatever, you're still going to look forward to it because you know that it's a space that you've built, that you have, that you can go to at least embrace yourself, at least embrace your own existence and your own presence. And you're actually going to do that, and you can actually start to build that up over time. So that's been something else I've counted on. Like no matter what I do, if I'm going out and I'm doing some like really like intense work at something, or I'm really like expanding my comfort zones in like very difficult ways, like social settings, like learning from other really difficult smart people, and it's like challenging for me to learn, I'm more comfortable doing that because I'm like, oh well, I don't give a shit, whatever happens, I'm just going to go back to my hour of meditation anyway. It's like I don't give a shit really what happens in the day-to-day experience of life, because I know for me, I'm going to go back to that hour of meditation. So if I'm hanging out with people and maybe it's like uncomfortable or awkward, I'm like, well, cool, that's fine, because in a little while I'm going to be doing meditation 1 hour. That's for me. That's what I'm doing. And I want other people to start to experience that and learn that, in fact, no matter where you are, no matter what position you're at in life, no matter how fucked up your situation is, no matter how shitty your fucking experiences have been in life or how great they've been or whatever, no matter how many times you gave up on yourself and you fucking gave in to being a dickhead or an idiot or smoking cigarettes or doing coke or fucking off or whatever it is, you can start with just 3 minutes, 3 times a week for 3 months. You can start and begin to build up a program of self-development, self-reflection, mindfulness, fucking inner peace, whatever it is. You can build that shit up. And that will become more important, right, than all the other bullshit. And that's the thing, like that's what people often, they give in to some type of resistance. They figure out a reason why they can't do it. No, I can't because the thing is my fucking mom's an idiot. I really can't because the thing is my fucking arms both got blown off in the war and I can't. Oh, the thing is my fucking relationships suck and it's too hard and I can't, and I'm a fucking idiot, and one time I was drunk and I was a fucking loser, and when I was a kid I was a fucking... You can do that forever. Like you can go on about shit forever. Blah, 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 bullshit happened in my life and it fucking sucked. Good. I say good to that. I say awesome. That gives you a place to start. Go into your meditation, take your time, and go into that. Good. Maybe you were a fucking idiot when you were a kid. Maybe you were a fucking drunk idiot when you were a teenager or whatever. I mean, I know I did lots of dumb shit. That gives me a large reservoir of reference experience of which to lean on, right? Of which to break down. I have a large amount of reference experiences of like data, of like backed up instances in my life, in my experiences, that I can break down, right? That I can reflect on. So it's almost like if there's a lot of things that you need to deal with, that's okay. You can get started, and you can, and it almost doesn't matter how many there are, right? You can still just begin to break them down. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's what I'm expelling out there is this idea that I want people to get started on meditation, get started with self-reflection. Anyone, you guys who are on Instagram, feel free to ask any questions, like your specific lifestyle circumstances that you're in right now. If you have like a specific question where you're like, this is really fucked up, or this is the thing I'm dealing with right now in this instance in my life, like, Luke, what do you think? Like, I will just give you like my personal opinion on that if you want. Yeah, so that's generally how I feel about that. I've been doing these live streams like basically every single day now for half an hour, and then putting them onto YouTube as well. So hopefully if I do this for like 6 months, whatever, I feel like something positive will happen. Some people will begin to take part in this. And again, like when I remember back probably like, holy shit, this was probably like 6 years ago, like maybe 7 years ago, when I first learned about the idea of actually just your own awareness, your own consciousness, your own like spiritual development. I was doing like massive meditation sessions for like, fuck, honestly, it's obscene. I was doing like 5 or 6 hours. It was ridiculous. I would just put the headphones on, and I can remember like after like so much time, it felt like forever, but it was probably like an hour or 2 or 3. I would take the headphones off. I would like go and use the washroom, and then I would come back, and I realized that like I had no other choice. Like I had no other option in life. Like there was nowhere to go. So I just like was like, okay, fine. Like I'll just keep doing this. Like I'll just keep going at it. And it was good, you know, and I definitely learned like a lot from that. But it's like in the end, the bottom line is you're gonna have to find a way to engage with yourself, like engage with your own thoughts, like your own feelings, and recognize that truly, like all the other stuff that happens, whether it's like relationships or like just like stimuluses or good shit or bad shit or whatever, you really eventually can see that it's almost just like that feeling currently that you're having. It's just like that feeling that you currently have when that one girl or that one guy or that one instance that you really thought was going to work out, or you really thought was going to like be like positive for you, and for whatever reason that didn't work out. It's almost just like, what is the exact feeling that you're currently having because of that? Like what actually is that? Well, it's like, well, it hurts in my chest. I feel it right here in my chest, like in my heart. Like I feel it there. Like it hurts. It's like, all right, cool. Like, okay. So you're hurting in your chest, like from a pain, like from some relationship that failed. Okay. Okay. Like let's allow that. But it hurts a lot. Like it hurts so much. Like it won't stop. Okay. So your experience of life is that you have an unending hurting in your chest. Okay. It's like that's your life. That's your experience right now. Great. And so your job is to embrace that, accept that, and that really you have to accept that that's enough. Like that's enough. Like at some point that's enough. It could actually be worse. Like it could be worse. It could be better, but it could be worse. And so you want to just embrace whatever it is that, and I understand it's hard, like holy shit, like I get it. But also there's no other choice. Like I used to always say, like when I first started like learning from like really high quality like mentors and people that were inspiring me, I used to think like, for example, like when I first started watching Joe Rogan podcast, like I or whoever it is, but for example, for him, I was like so pissed that it was this big-headed idiot from the UFC, from fucking Fear Factor. I was pissed. I was like, how is it possible that that he is someone who has things figured out to a pretty good degree? Like, how can that possibly be? Like, I didn't want to accept it. So I tried not to. I was like, no, fuck that. Like someone else knows. Like my high school principal had a better idea. Like the doctors, the politicians, the bankers, the religious people. Someone has it all figured out. Like there's some guy sitting somewhere in an office that knows what's going on. That's driving this fucking world. That's driving this reality. And I had to accept at some point that there's not. And someone like Joe Rogan, unfortunately, it's someone like him who has put together a pretty valid picture of reality. And it's not to say it's right for everyone. It's not to say he's the only one or he is perfect, but it's pretty valid. And you have to come to terms with that and make your own reality based upon what you think, because that's what he did, and that's what you have to do. And you need to stop thinking that someone else is going to come and explain it to you. Like even me, like I don't know everything at all. Like I'm not going to like it's not that I somehow have some magical knowledge that you don't have, or I don't magically have things figured out in some like special way that you can't. It's not that at all, right? It's not that at all. And that's what makes it frustrating. That's what's like, well, why is this bearded idiot with the fucking man bun sitting here on Instagram with like a couple people watching? Why is it that he should have things pretty well, like have a good outlook on things? I don't know why. That's just the world we live in. That's just the reality we live in, right? It's because also the bar is so low. Like the bar is so low in our society. Like the consensus reality that most people buy into is so fucking stupid. Like there's nothing there. There's nothing to it. It's like going and eating at McDonald's every single day. You're never gonna get full. Like you're never gonna feel good because it's all bullshit. That's what generally our society is. So you have to engage with these type of ideas within yourself and come to grips with it within yourself, and then you'll be a better match for other people who think this way or other experiences, and you can just realize that most of that other stuff's just bullshit. Like, and it's not gonna matter. Like, it's not gonna make any difference if you, for example, like here, I'll use this example because it's one that everyone fucking deals with. And like, I know I have too and stuff. For example, like with a relationship, like say, because I was asked this question recently from someone who was struggling with a relationship, about, hey, like, I really like this person. Like, I really like this guy, or I really like this girl. And they are not really treating me that well. Like, they're lying to me. They're telling me bullshit. Like, when I ask them things, they just like make shit up, and they're not really capable of like speaking with me in a way that's like I'm comfortable with, and all this type of stuff. Okay. And like you have to realize that the a lot of people are not living their lives in a successful way. Like they're not going to be productive in what it is they really want. They're living in a lie. Like, right? Like they're saying shit and they're just doing shit that's not really thought out. There's nothing really to it. They're just reacting. They're just doing shit. And if you're not happy and congruent within yourself, you might get caught up in that bullshit, right? You might get caught up in the lies and the nonsense. And it's difficult because when you don't feel very, very centered and confident in yourself, you tend to think, oh, someone else knows better than me. And so you can get into a relationship with someone and think like, oh, well, they know, or they're completing me. But in fact, they're not. And in a lot of ways, you're just getting caught up in their bullshit. So if someone's telling you shit and that you're not happy with, or like you're involved in the relationship with them and you're not feeling good about it. It's like they're fucking lying to you, or they're not even a really quality person. You have to realize that it's not really them who's going to complete you. It's not even really you who's going to do anything for them. You guys are just involved in like a toxic little thing. And it's the more that you develop yourself, you'll just bounce them the fuck away because they won't want to hear it. As soon as you tell the person like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you lying to me? Like, that's not I'm not comfortable with that. They're probably just going to leave because they don't want to hear that. They want to lie and they want to tell bullshit and they want you to accept that, right? So anyway, that's one way that's one example of all this. Look, I'll tell like a Zen story. I've told this before, but it's a really good one, so I'll tell it again. And I again recently heard it in a book that I'm reading, so I like to always say it. If when in doubt, I like this story. Okay, so there was a farmer in ancient China, and he was like kind of a poor farmer, and he was living on his farm with his son. And they had like a few plants and they had one horse. And one day it was a stormy evening and the wind blew the fence over and that one horse ran away. And the next day, all the townspeople came around and said to the old Chinese farmer, like, "Oh man, that's so sad that you lost your only horse. Like, that's so sad." And the old farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, that horse came back, and with him he brought 5 wild horses. Now the farmer had 5 new horses, and all the townspeople came around and said, "Wow, you're so lucky. You got all these new horses." And the old farmer said, "Maybe." Okay. The next day, the farmer's son was out riding one of the new horses trying to break him in. The farmer's son fell off the horse and broke his leg. Couldn't work on the farm anymore because his leg was broken. All the townspeople came around and said, "Oh, that's so sad. Your son broke his leg. Now you have no one to help you on the farm." The old man said, "Maybe." Okay. The next day, the army came around and recruited all the young men from the town, but they didn't recruit the old man's son because his leg was broken. All the townspeople's young men went off to war, but the old man's son didn't. So all the townspeople came around and said, "Oh, you're so lucky. Your son's got a broken leg, so he didn't have to go to the war." The old man said, "Maybe." Right? So you don't know yet if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes you need to take a little bit of perspective on things and realize that it's messy at times. A broken leg can look so horrible, but something good can come from it. That fucking boy, if he didn't break his leg, may have gone off to war and got both his legs blown off. So you don't know yet. So you have to develop the inner ability of strength to endure, right? To endure the experiences so that you can stand these changes, these little changes, these fluctuations, and gain the larger gift that they might be bringing you. Okay, so if that farmer freaked out right away when his one horse ran away, he's, "Fuck this, it's all over, my fucking farm's ruined, just burn the farm down, give it all up." Then he got 5 horses. So he should have stayed. He should have just chilled. But then one of the horses broke. His son's like, "Oh fuck, I'm ruined, my son's leg's broke." Just chill. Because the next day the army's coming around and they're taking all the young men. If your son was still okay, they'd have taken him too. So who's to say what is good or what is bad and what leads to what? Your life's unfolding as you're living. And you're actually here living it. And it's not as what the movies have made it out to be. It's not as what mainstream society has eluded that your life is going to be like. It's not really like that. It's different. It's much more subtle. It's much more nuanced. It's much more it's real. You're really living it, and you want to get more engaged with that so that you feel more a part of it. You feel more committed to your actual life, and that's how you can gain some real insight and some real satisfaction, and eventually maybe happiness, maybe contentment, maybe fucking success, maybe meet your goals. Like, that could happen. You actually could do it. And no two people are alike. Like, no two people have the same goals. Like, there's not there's no other person who specifically is doing the exact same kind of fucking trying to get people to meditate and talking shit like me with a fucking beard and man bun and swearing and bullshit and doing this kind of stuff like I am, because no one has this exact same experience and no one wants this fucking experience. I fucking hope they don't because that would be insane. But there's no one who's just like me, and that's okay, right? And there's a saying that if everyone in the world put all their problems into a pile, most people would end up just taking their same old problems back, right? Because if you actually realized what every other person had to deal with, you wouldn't even want to fucking deal with it. You'd be happy just to take your little problems back and work on them. But the point is, you do have to work on them, right? You do have to actually work on those problems. And that shit takes time, and that shit takes effort, and it's not going to happen overnight. But if you keep exposing yourself to useful, valuable content and filling your mind with valuable content, right? Filling your soul and your fucking body with valuable shit. It's like now that we have the internet, it's like it doesn't matter the people that are physically around you. Fucking eliminate them. If they're not serving you, you don't need them. Like make your friends people from fucking YouTube. Make your friends valuable books that you can read. Make your friends valuable Instagram people that you know, valuable YouTube people that you know, valuable books, valuable mentors, even if you can't physically see them, even if you can't physically be around them. That doesn't matter. I can still remember, I just got a few minutes left, but I'll finish up here with this. I still remember when one day after I graduated university, and I remember they had that stupid ceremony and everyone was wearing their fucking stupid robes and they were all clapping for themselves. And I remember thinking it was the dumbest shit ever. And I thought, this is so fucking stupid. This is such all a lie. This is such all bullshit. And I remember going home after I felt so betrayed by the university system and fucking society. I thought it was such a waste of time. And I remember going home and I turned on Joe Rogan podcast. And I remember thinking, like, I turned it on and I was like, this is my friend now. Like, this is my friend. This is my path. Like, these are my friends. Like, this is my tribe. I don't even know these people. Like, I don't know Joe Rogan personally. Like, I don't know. But I was like, you know what? This is a path for me. I trust this. This is the right thing to do. I'm just going to do it. I have no choice. And I remember thinking, like, for me, that was really a turning point when I graduated university and had like studied at a university, like at a good school, and got a degree and blah, 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 and passed all these exams, which society was telling me was such a great thing to do. And when I finally accomplished that, it was so hard for me. It was so hard because I never learned anything in school. I never had an education, like past when I was like 12 years old. I never knew anything. I never learned anything. So I went to fucking stupid schools and it was all bullshit. So I never knew. So university for me was so hard. And I worked so hard at it. And when I finally got it, I was like, there's nothing here. You guys are full of shit. Like, there's nothing here. So I accomplished what society told me. It's like you hear about people who finally make their millions. They finally make $1 million and they're fucking miserable. Because they finally got, or people who have weddings, people who have like giant weddings, and then they're just stuck there with this person they married and they don't even really like them. Right? And that's what happens. And that's kind of what happened to me when I graduated university. I was like, thought I finally did this thing that society told me was so great. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. And I realized I have no other choice. And I just bought in. I just invested with Rogan's podcast and whatever else came of that. Not just him. There's lots of other people who have good ideas. But I was like, I'm going down this path. This is my path now. And that's what I'm doing right now. Making these videos, sharing. I don't care if there's only one person on the Instagram. In fact, I just listened to Grant Cardone yesterday. And he was on about that. He was like, I don't give a shit if you're Instagram live into one person. You put your fucking message out there. You do your thing. You keep building. The rest is irrelevant. You do your thing. You build what you want to build. You live the life you want to live. You make the reality you want to make. And that's what matters. Right? That's what matters. The fucking rest is irrelevant. So I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing. So that's what I want for you guys. Do your fucking thing. Build your fucking thing. And you know how you get started with that? 3 fucking minutes of meditation. Get your shit done. Go fucking do it right now. Hang up this Instagram as soon as I'm done here in 30 seconds. Do your fucking 3 minutes of meditation. Send me a DM if you did it. Say, Luke, I did fucking 3 minutes of meditation. I'm going to say, that's sick. A few days later, do it again. A few days later, do it again. That's 1 week. Okay? Do that shit for 3 months. You'll be well on the path. You'll be an elite member of our society. You'll be among the rarest breed of people that actually did some shit with their fucking life. Boom. That's it. All right. That's all for today. Thank you for everybody who joined. Anyone who came on here to check this out. This was cool. I'm sure I'll do another one tomorrow. Why the fuck not? Let's get it going. Everybody, have a good one. Peace out.